We are live now. Okay, let's just give it
Hello.
a minute. Hi, everyone. This is David and Dana with Process Talks. How are you? How are you, David?
Doing very well. Hope you're well. There's lots of excellent things happening. And today we're going to be talking about our two different online courses coming up. Rome, Where Are We? Which is the second edition of that course coming out, analogizing our current political situation to late Republican Rome. And then your class about Gothic iterations. As Ben Shapiro would say, but first, go ahead, Dana, about our sponsor.
We want to go ahead and announce our first sponsor, Meshy. And let me go ahead and share my screen, just show you the company here. So Meshy is a 3D program where you can take images to 3D models and text to 3D models, just like so. And in Meshy 3D, all your amazing ideas that you can create any type of prompt that you want, any type of images that you get from the internet, and create these really awesome 3D models. And just like so, and then you can add them as OBJ. You can export them as any software that you need. And so we will go into a video tutorial on that on another time.
Yep, maybe in the middle of
Okay,
this
and
video, we'll see. But yeah, Meshi is something that I'm really glad that you found that, Dana, because this is going to be integrating beautifully into our workflow. So let's talk. What do you think? Should we talk first about Rome, Where Are We, or first about your class? What do you think?
let's do Rome. Where are we? Since Rome was before Gothic, so let's
There we
start with Rome.
go. That's logical. Say yes. So Rome, Where Are We? I first taught this course um, as kind of on the platform of John David Ebert, who is a very interesting historian and independent scholar. He lives in New Mexico, and we had some people subscribe to the course, and it's about I'll have to look it up online. We're going to be having a space about this, a course preview next Sunday. So follow me at Histofarch, Histofarch. Should be a link in the description below eventually. And what you do when you follow me on Twitter there, on X platform, is that you will be able to join this space next week. If you're watching from the future, then, and it's already happened, we'll be able to find a link to it. It'll be a recorded space. So, and then it's going to be a 6 or 7 part kind of lecture and discussion where the students will pay for the course. The more people that join, the cheaper it is. And so at the end of it, there are the public lectures. Some of them are online from the old version. There are going to be new versions of this. We're going to be reading some Suetonius, some Plutarch, and things have become the difference from the last course and this course. The analogies have become clearer, sharper, more interesting, scarier, or more exciting, depending on what everybody thinks. So that's the idea behind all of that. That's the summary. It's based very much on Oswald Spengler's framework of historiography, which means his way of looking at history, of making analogies between different parts of history based on his morphology of history, which just means study of the shape of history, the idea that civilizations start, civilizations end, they have kind of a peak in the middle. And when you can figure out how that works and all the associate correlates of that, you can the whole idea is that you can then be less stressed out about the world. You can make better decisions. You can see clearly how things are happening. So, Dana, I know you and I have so many fantastic discussions. Sometimes I wish that it was easy to have a record button to go live in life because I love all these discussions we have, and you have so many fantastic questions. So, what are you at all curious about the Rome situation and the analogies and the what questions would you ask?
Yeah, I'm really interested in Rome. Where are we? Because first of all, I mean, less so for me about solving the puzzle of uh what it means for today, because I try to stay away from the abyss as much as possible, even though the
Yes,
abyss
sure.
just kind of captures me.
The news
It's very,
negativity. You are very sensitive to the news negativity, which a lot of people are. Hello?
yeah, it's addicting. I would be more interested in exactly news negativity. Yeah, yeah. So uh I would be more interested in learning about the history of Rome because I love the idea of learning history. I can't say that I love history itself because I don't know enough about it. I love the
Hmm.
idea of learning history.
So, so what
And
are you? What parts about Rome would you be most interested in with the late Republic? As the Republic turned into the Empire, you have this bust of Julius Caesar, which is a very talented piece of sculpture that you've made. You're talented, and the piece of sculpture is very good. You have some familiarity with it. But what do you have anything that you would like to say about that? How we relate to that time period, or what you would specifically want to find out about?
I guess I would like to learn. By the way, you guys leave in the comment section down below what it is that you would love to learn about Rome, and any specific subject about Rome. So for me, it would be mostly about architecture, urbanism, aqueducts, kind of things. Like I would love to learn about the history of architecture when it comes to Rome, like Roman architecture and the methods of construction. So not just like, oh, this building, this is that building, but like this was the methods being used in ancient Rome at this time. And this is how they would create these columns, this is how they did, this is how they, so I that's what I would be interested in for that. And yeah, what about you, David? What's your favorite part about Rome? Where are we?
Well, my favorite part is the well, thank you. My favorite part about that situation is really trying to understand how our shape of government is impacted, how our economy and our government is impacted. The transition that happened with Rome from the late Republic to the Empire was a very jarring transition. It happened, of course. Tim Pool is famous for saying the phrase "civil war." And we've been in civil unrest. Some people say we're in civil war. I don't think we are. I don't think we necessarily have to be. Um, we are not doomed to repeat the past. History rhymes, it does not repeat. But the more we know about it, the more we can break out of it. And I would say there are two very important points of distinction, points of departure. One is Rome never lost to Vietnam, right? The United
Okay.
States, there are so many parallels between the United States and between Rome. The idea that we were founded kind of as an expanding colony. We had these foreign kings for a while. After a while, we had founders who overthrew the foreign kings. We had an aristocratic republic for a while until the demos, the people, that's the Greek word for it though, the plebeians demanded that they get more representation. And then there were three great wars with Rome's rival, the Carthaginians, which really corresponds to the First World War, the Second World War, and the Cold War. And it gets awfully precise the more and more that you get into it. It's gotten down to the point where Joe Biden and we can talk about this more in the course and perhaps more on Sunday next week. But Joe Biden and Trump are two very, very specific character types. It's not like they're the reincarnation of these people. It's not like they're definitely acting like these people. It's that they are fulfilling a similar type of character type in history. And that's very important. Now, there are things RFK is somewhat of a wild card. I think the more that RFK comes into the picture, the more we have the opportunity to split off into something that is not the destiny of Rome, something that is not like the Augustan uh, Empire and or Civil War. So all of these things certainly can be avoiding the negativity, and I think it's quite possible for the United States to enter into a period of preeminence like Rome did after the so-called Augustan Revolution, but not necessarily with replacing the Republic with imperial rule.
That's really interesting. So who would you compare, like would you compare you know, Joe Biden or Kamala Harris to like, you know, the Roman emperors and then Trump to Jesus? Like what would
Well, at this point in the historical analogy, we're not to any of the emperors yet.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Okay, well,
But
that's interesting.
there are major historical figures. So
Hmm.
the points, if you're following Spengler, Oswald Spengler's chronology, he thought that 100 BC was roughly chronological with the year 2000, which, when you cast it forward to the things that Spengler could not have seen because he died in the 30s, something like 1935, then you can see it's actually very, very accurate. I think there's about 4 years of slip back and forth. I spent some time sinking time into an analogical timeline where I put the lives of famous people now versus the lives of famous people then, historical events now, historical events then, to see how the correlates match up. They actually match up fairly interestingly. And so then as you look forward, you can see the historic events that did happen, these points of departure in Rome, are 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 what we can expect, some type of conflict, some type of resolution, some type of political event happening in the future, that would be vaguely matching what we have now. I think someone like Kamala Harris, I think Biden, I'm just going to say the names. We can go over what they mean later. Uh, I think Biden is like the final consulship of Gaius Marius. Gaius Marius was a multiple consul of Rome. He was a politician for an extremely long time, and he ended his final consulship in ill health, and some people would say significant senility. And he eventually left Rome in exile and was replaced by, I think I'm getting this correct, with another politician named Cinna, who was the one who was more driving the younger person. So Harris would be like a Cinna figure who was considered very much a radical by the more conservative people. Trump then would be like Sulla. And do you know what Lucius Cornelius Sulla had written on his epitaph, on his gravestone?
No.
It was something
Oh,
along the lines,
no.
it was something along the lines of this: I have had neither friend nor enemy whom I have not repaid in full. So that does sound quite a bit like something that is in the area of how Donald Trump leads his life. He started off
Okay.
he started off being involved in entertainment. He was in the public eye before he was in politics,
Oh.
and that definitely
Oh,
matches
well,
with
that's
Trump's life.
interesting. Well, that's interesting.
He married older
Oh,
women who
and
were
you
famously he married rich older women and had a so. But
and
yeah, go ahead.
there's these really those these really interesting bills that I told you about that my wonderful new friend had gifted me. Were those not bills? Like what were those?
And that was old French money.
Wow, I'm just gonna
It looked
share my
like
screen because this is go ahead. It looked like what?
I wondered if that was a portrait of Caesar on one of them, but do you know who that was? I couldn't see from the photo.
I asked them and they said it wasn't,
It
but
usually
I'm
says
not
on the bill.
sure if it says it on there.
It usually does. When you have someone on money, it usually says who it is. Sometimes it doesn't.
Well, let's
I think the German 5 mark note had a portrait of Gauss, and it didn't say who that was. Balthasar Neumann was on the
okay.
10, I think.
Well, you know what? Let me go ahead. I think there's one of them looks like Shakespeare, but I can't tell. Really, if
Not
somebody, so let me go
Shakespeare.
ahead and
The
oh
French would
well,
not put Shakespeare on their money, Dana.
that's a good point. You have a very good point. You have a
And
very good
men in
point.
the late 1500s tended to have mustaches. That was a thing.
You have a good point. Let me go ahead and share my screen so that people can see what we're talking about. So I was gifted this beautiful dollar bills by some really awesome friends today, just before actually the Versailles car show. So I didn't tell you this, I didn't mention to you, David, but today
Mm.
was a really amazing, super cool car show here in Versailles, and there was all these classic cars. And so basically, the first Sunday of every month, they have a like a classic car show, and they had all those chitty chitty bang bangs and all.
Just like in Glendale.
Yes, like similar to Pasadena, Glendale, all of that. And so here's these. I can you see my screen, David? What are you smoking? What are you
Yes.
smoking?
Early morning pipe.
Yummy. Yummy. So so I don't know who this is, but it looks like Caesar. I mean, he's a cutie.
Vaguely.
He's got a nice he's got a cute little, he's got a cute face. I don't know who that is, but he's adorbs.
Yeah,
And
it's
look,
200 francs. You know.
and there's a little half under moon here, just like my tattoo. And then these, you know, shells, like these booby-like shells. So I don't know what that is supposed to mean, but I could have just offended something like really, really important. I don't know. And then here's another one. Um, I don't know who this is, but it could have been a poet. I don't know. David, you know what? You got to teach me French history too. You got to teach me French history. Anyway, so yeah, I've got three of these real awesome Caesar ones, and I've got two of these Shakespeare looking ones, even though that's not Shakespeare. Um, and yeah, so and then also I got this really cool magnifying glass from my friend Jonathan. He gifted that to me. Anyway, let's go back to our lovely
Well, this is what the
lovely
internet
selves.
tells us. The 1981 to 85 series of the 200 franc note had Gustav Eiffel. I don't think that's him because they said there was a picture of the Eiffel Tower in the background.
Um, looks like there was a picture of the Eiffel Tower
There was?
in the
It's
background.
probably Gustav Eiffel. So
Uh,
that would likely be a franc note between 1981 and 1985. I don't think people are expecting us to talk about old money. But
uh, well, let's see. No, no, it's not him. It's not Gustav Eiffel. No,
uh,
it's not. It's not him. There is a tower in the back, but it's not Gustav Eiffel. It's like an older guy than that. He's got like long hair, looking like a one of those Quaker guys, even though I don't know, looking like one of those. I don't know. You gotta teach me history, David. What are you doing?
il est une Huguenote. Et qu'est-ce que c'est une Huguenote? The Huguenots. Is he a Huguenot? French Protestant? I don't think they put a
I mean,
Huguenot on the
maybe
money.
je ne sais pas. I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, so that's Rome. Where are we? Do you want to go over? Are you ready to go over Gothic iterations?
I think we should, but first, didn't you want to do the demonstration of Meshy?
Oh, yes. Okay, so I will go ahead and do that. A quick side note. Let's show you just a quick example of how to use Meshy. Let's go ahead and share our screen and do a really awesome, super Meshy example. Okay, so let's do text to 3D. All right, let me give it a super awesome prompt. Let's say, I don't know, David, what's something cool? How about we do a 3D of your pipe? Okay, what's your favorite type of pipe? Maybe a Nearsham or something, like a Nearsham Peterson. I don't know. What's
Savinelli.
dark? I don't know. Savinelli. Okay, how do I spell that?
Savinelli.
Uh, Savinelli. Savinelli pipe.
Look up Savinelli 315.
Okay, Savinelli 315 pipe.
It's what's called a Prince pipe. We'll see what it finds.
Prince pipe.
Well, don't. Okay.
Okay. And let's make this ultra. By the way, ultra is a pro feature. I can highlight many of the benefits of that, but yeah, the you could do either fixed or adaptive, but with the pro feature, you're able to customize the amount of nodes and triangulations. Okay, let's do symmetry off because pipes are not symmetrical. And let's go ahead and give it a try, shall we? Okay. Okay. All right. And are we okay? Okay, wait, no, not extract prompts from image. Wait, why isn't this working? Oh, here it the generate button was being hidden by the Skype video. Anyway, sorry about that. It took me a while. I was like, where's the generate button? It's being hidden by my buttons. It's hidden by my buttons. Anyway, so now we're waiting for this to give us the scoop on that. And while it's showing us some pipes. It's showing us some pipes. By the way, David, if you can take a look at this, look at these cool, awesome Corinthian columns that I generated from text. So this is text to 3D here.
Right, because
And, as you can see,
the benefit of this platform is that you can create a 3D model from a 2D image or create a 3D model from a text prompt. And then the really good thing is that because the way that AI, and we talked about this before, AI is not going to be used as some type of mechanistic thing where you just get it in print, but you get you're able to edit what you export. You not only refine the prompt, but say, for example, we wanted to change the proportions of that fluting, to add more fluting
mhm.
around it to make them thinner, add less fluting to make it wider. We wouldn't want to make it wider, but you can export this to a mesh file that you edit in something like Rhino. Wouldn't that be correct, Dana?
Oh, yes, or actually you wouldn't be um editing it in Rhino. Maybe you could. That would
Not
be
Rhino.
interesting, but
Yeah, Rhino's not great. You can edit it in something else, but you can edit it, right?
yeah, you can edit it. It would probably be better to edit it in Blender.
There we
Maybe
go.
if anybody, honestly, if anybody's familiar with editing these types of models, like these types of like mesh kind of models, or like quad or triangulations in either Rhino or Blender, like which one you recommend, definitely leave us
Okay.
a comment down below what you recommend. And as you can see, like this is the text to 3D, right, of the Corinthian column, and stuff like this. And then if you go to image to 3D, these are the image to 3D models that it created, which I think are actually much nicer. The image to 3Ds are much better than the text to 3D in terms of creating columns, because then, there's more customization in it.
Mm.
It's not just so generic. It's not just popping out something,
Yeah.
that it
By
thinks that you want.
by the way, Dana, you weren't far off when you said Shakespeare, because this is a French dramatist from the 18th, excuse me, from the 17th century. He was a few generations after Shakespeare and may have been influenced by Shakespeare's sense of style.
Oh
It's
yeah.
Pierre Corneille. Pierre Corneille.
Oh, nice. Nice.
So he's Eugen, the one of the historians I greatly admire, Eugen Weber, talks about him. He wrote kind of problem plays about matters of aristocratic conflict, about there being two conflicting right answers to something, and about how a nobleman needs
Hmm.
to choose.
Oh, interesting. Hmm. I love that. Well, look at this awesome text to 3D, by the way, while we're waiting. Look at this amazing text to 3D Gothic thing that I generated. Um, it just look at how interesting even the bottom is. It just looks so, I love the way that AI thinks. AI like really has its own artistic mind, and I love that. I love the way that AI is its own artist, and I love that. Anyway,
And creates a dialogue,
so
really.
the yeah, it does. And our pipe model is just about done. Um, our pipe model is just about finished, you guys. And David is going to give his seal of approval, of course, once it's finished.
Ceci n'est pas
Bum, ba,
une pipe.
bum. Ce n'est pas un pipe.
Ce n'est pas.
All right, David. Now tell me,
That's what
what do you
Magritte would
what
say.
does it get the seal, the David seal of approval?
It's a very nice pipe that looks absolutely nothing like a Savinelli 315, but that's an interesting pipe. So do a Google
Savinelli.
image
Okay,
search. Google image search for a Savinelli 315. But this is why AI is so exciting as an emerging phenomenon. Because if we wanted to model the 315 exactly, we could pull in that image. Now show the difference between pulling it in from the image.
exactly. There you go. Exactly. You know what? Let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and take the pipe, the image of the pipe, and
Just
do
do
a
a screenshot.
3D. Yeah, we'll do a comparison between the text to 3D and the image to 3D with the exact model. So let's go ahead and let's just go ahead and do that, because yeah, that is totally not the same. What would you say that model looks like more of?
Looks like a three-quarter bend Peterson, really.
It did look a little bit like a Peterson. Oh, actually, wait. I don't know. I'm a dork. I forgot what a Peterson looks like.
Looks like lots of different things.
Okay. You know how my favorite pipes, you guys, I'm not a pipe smoker, but if I were to ever be a pipe smoker, I would definitely be, oh wait, yeah, image to 3D classic pipe. Okay. Yeah, if I were to be a pipe smoker, I would be smoking a Nearsham, like extra long church warden Nearsham.
Okay. And for those of you who don't know, Meerschaum is a German word because it's a German word about a Turkish craft, is that you get the chalk out of the ocean before it turns to limestone, and after its shells, it's a type of clay, chalk clay, Meerschaum. It means sea sponge. And so you use this chalk clay to make pipes out of, and you can sculpt it into lots of different shapes, and it's very beautiful.
Yes. And it looks like it's okay. So I'm really glad that we're doing this right now, because we're having David's seal of approval for these 3D pipes. But anyway, um, so while we're waiting for this, let's go ahead and
It's
talk
Let's go
talk.
vers une architecture.
Yeah, let's
The
go ahead and
end
talk. Go
the
ahead.
end of that book had a picture of a pipe very famously. The end of
Hmm.
Corbusier's book.
Oh, really?
Pipe with no caption. And that's why I'm convinced that René Magritte, the famous French painter, the surrealist, was making fun of, he was satirizing, I'm convinced he was satirizing Corbusier when he came up with Ceci n'est pas une pipe, the famous This is not a pipe painting because he was criticizing that Corbusier was confusing the symbol with reality, which is
Oh,
Corbusier's main problem in life.
so you're saying that ce n'est pas un pipe is
Ceci n'est pas une pipe.
oh, thank you, David. Yeah, he's
Yes,
much more correct at that. Um, so that came after Corb?
I'm pretty sure it did. We can look it up though.
Wow. David, I'm just so glad that we're doing this school together because you're so knowledgeable and teaching me all these cool things. Okay.
I can look that up, Jamie, while you look at that import.
So, I'm so glad that we're doing this because David, look at this. This is totally not,
It
that
did
is
something very
totally,
interesting though. It kind of made it,
it
but you can
really
edit
did.
this. You can edit this and change it, and it did something very interesting to kind of make it a church warden. Isn't that
It
kind
did.
of
It totally turned it
it
into a
kind of
church
looks like a
warden.
it kind of looks like an Art Deco Lord of the Rings pipe now.
It does. It does.
That's like something Elrond would have.
Yeah, that's while it was generating, I'm like, that's a church warden. And I was like, that's gonna be not correct. But maybe we'll try this text to 3D. Let's try this. Let's do text to 3D and say extract prompts from image so that we have maybe both the image and we'll try this. Okay, Savinelli. Okay. Short. What is it? A short, what's the spout? Is that what you call it? A short stick?
STEM.
Stem. Short stem.
Yeah.
Savinelli. Okay.
Dana, here it is on Corbusier. So 1923 was the original publication of Vers une architecture. It was published in English in 27. And The Treachery of Images is the name of here, do an image search right now so people can see this because it's so clever and wonderful. The Magritte. Open a new window.
Okay, hold on, hold on. I need to make
Go
sure
ahead.
that this is send to prompt. Ooh. Okay, let's try it. All right, you guys, we're giving this a long shot. We're
While
giving this
that's
a long shot.
cranking, open up a new tab and look for The Treachery of Images.
Treachery of images. Treachery of images.
Make it
Oh,
there it is and show that image.
this one. Yes, 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 that's right.
And show it big so people there it is. Ceci n'est pas une pipe.
Now,
And
what
that
type
was
of
19
pipe is that?
that's just well, I'm not sure exactly what you call that one. There are different names for the different shapes. It's not exactly a billiard. It's a bent billiard. I might call it a bent billiard, but that's a
I wonder
type.
if they sell pipes that look exactly like that.
Oh, I'm sure somebody in France does. Yes. But that would be interesting to find out who and how. But that painting was 1929, the surrealist painting by René Magritte, and Corbusier published his book in 1923. So there was certainly a very, very good chance that he was satirizing this, and especially that he would call it the treachery of images.
Interesting.
Very important to keep in
Interesting.
mind when we're doing things like AI and making places for people to live, is that really the idea of image versus physical is all about the process of design, about how do you flip between the two, because there's even an image in your head. There's the image in your head, the idea. There's the image in speech, in how you talk to people and describe it. There's the image on the screen. There's the image you draw. And then there is what is actually physically done. And hopefully there's as small a gap between these things as possible. But there is always some gap. This is it, Harry. We
You,
are. Hmm?
it's true. And you know what? This is a really good test that we're doing. And actually, this is great because using the pipe as our um as our test is helping to see exactly how accurate it's getting. Because let's say that we put in a
Yeah.
Corinthian column if we put in a Corinthian column, we're not going to know exactly how close it's getting,
Too many
even if it,
variables.
yes, and even it was still getting the picture not quite right with
The
the
pipe,
spirality.
the pipe is, see, Dana, I think the soul of Corbusier, if he were capable of hearing us now, would be smiling and laughing and maybe even jumping up and down excitedly, because he would be saying something along the lines of, yes, yes, that's why I did it. Of course, that's why I put the picture in the book. Is because is because a pipe is an example of something that is easy to hold, that even if you don't own one, you know what it is and it's familiar. This was more true in the 20s than it is now, but still, you got an idea for it. It's not something completely alien and like a weird object. It's not like a crystal. Crystals always look alien. That's kind of why they're cool. But a pipe is something that is simple yet distinct. Each pipe is different from every other pipe, even when they're carved all the same, because they got the wood different.
Hmm.
And and a very subtle change in the pipe causes a big change in how it works, as to how hot it gets, how the flavor of the tobacco, and so on and so forth. But anyways, when we're importing it into the 3D, it's a very good way to see, like you say, Dana, how is the 3D biasing or inflecting how the form is changed.
Yeah, and using a pipe is a really good example of
Mm-hmm.
it finding that that correctness even through the image. I'm surprised it didn't get it as good as we had thought. But anyway, so I mean it's not perfect, but hey, it's 3D. It's better no than nothing. It looks great.
Well, and the
And
main point of this is to not get something exact, but to get a dialogue going. And there is going to be the Meshy software will continue to evolve.
mhm, exactly. I was gonna say exactmal. Exactmal.
That's okay to say.
Super.
That's an English cognate, like many French words, thanks to William of Normandy.
Yes. And so now that we are on our topic of courses, let's go on and move to our next course, which is, all right, you
Gothic
guys,
iterations.
Gothic iterations and
Yes,
Gothic.
go ahead and end the share screen, Dana, so we get back so that you make your face big.
No, we'll just leave it on the screen. It's fine. I like
You want
looking
people to
at
look
this.
at spinning pipes in your tiny face instead?
Yes, because part of Gothic iterations, we're going to be using AI. So and we're going to be using AI software.
All right.
So and we might as well have something Gothic to take a look at while we're going at it. So this is obviously not going to be the process of Gothic iterations, but let's have something cool and funky and Gothicy looking while we're talking about that. So anyway, so Gothic iterations is basically it's our course where we're going to be creating Revit models, like Revit Gothic models, like architectural models of uh, Gothic rose windows. We're going to be creating um, vaults, and we're going to be creating facades and using those concepts to, create its own sort of Gothic iteration. And we're going to have different iterations and all that. And we're going to be using bone matter, like photos of bones, photos of bone marrow, photos of like death to create the generative images that give us inspiration for how we want to go about this project. And the reason that we're going to be using bones and images of bones and bone matter is because it's about the death and resurrection of Christ. So it's a very symbolic statement of memento mori, remembering the death. And so it's the perfect reason to design something beautiful that starts with death and then becomes the resurrection. So that is going to be the whole purpose of using that. And I know all you goths out there are going to love it. You guys are going to love it because this is totally up your alley. Love all that goth stuff. So yeah, we're going to be doing some exploring of photographs that we take. of the Gothic of the catacombs in Paris. So when we have our course online, of course we're going to be using Google Images, but when we're in person doing this course together in person, we're going to be going down into the catacombs where it's safe. There it's you know, a guided tour, and we're going to take pictures of the bones, and you know, we're going to take our own pictures and our own content, and using those images to generate a Gothic iteration. And we're going to be doing it like that. And so that's Gothic iterations. We're going to be announcing the date for that. We're going to be announcing that at the opening day of Notre Dame. So when Notre Dame the day that Notre Dame opens, we're going to be announcing Gothic iterations, the announcement of the date of that, and it's probably roughly going to be maybe I would say like a few months, you know, after that, maybe 6 months, maybe a year. We're gonna have to figure it out, but that all depends on how many students we gather for this program. So if you guys are interested in this, please let us know so that we can add your name to the list so that we can get Gothic iterations going, and have more people available for this project. So we'll go ahead and post that. And in the meantime, you know, before we start Gothic iterations, I want to go ahead and announce Coco Rococo, which does not need to be in person. So Coco Rococo, we can do this over Zoom. It's basically going to be similar to Gothic iterations, except it's going to be a Rococo. It's not going to be revolved around death, obviously. Um, it's going to be revolved around Rococo architecture, and we're going to be sipping on hot cocoa virtually. We're going to
And
drink hot.
one of the
Go ahead.
fascinating things, Dana, when you and I were talking about preparing this Rococo course, is how there is the difference between biomimicry and biomorphism, that Rococo is very much about introducing echoes of marine elements. There are
Yes.
things involving, there's reference to the sea, shapes that come from rocks as they are shaped by the forces of nature. And when you mentioned iterations in the previous course, I think especially with you and I were talking about how my part, certainly in the Rococo course, would be one of the core methods with what we do with Living Process and with our clients is our own application of Christopher Alexander's method of the 15 fundamental properties. We start out with a pattern language and go into the form language, and this is a way of starting with a context, with a canvas, so to speak, and doing iterations and shaping form over time in a way that you are actually, the way Christopher Alexander describes it, you are actually making the space more alive. That some spaces are more alive, some spaces are less alive. So stay tuned with how we can do that in the Baroque idiom to bring about these design decisions of iteration and refinement of form to make a place more vibrantly alive and that makes you feel wonderful to be in. And that's certainly something that I'm looking forward to working with Dana on in the Coco Rococo class.
Yes. And by the way, so go ahead and take a look at your screen, David, and tell me, are we getting we're getting closer to the Savinelli, right?
That's getting much closer to the Savinelli. It has less of a bend, and the Prince shape is a very, very specific shape, and it's very acutely
What
noticeable. I
about
think
this?
something that's happening is that the reflection in the source photo. Now, this is a fun thing. Are you able to pull from multiple source photos for one object, for one model?
That's a good question.
Let's
Not
explore this
sure
together. Let's
about
try to
that.
find out how we do that.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. let's look up, let's use a
The
different
best thing to do
one
is to
as,
look at the same pipe. Go to the tobaccopipes.com website. Don't look through Google Images. Look through the website that you had before, where they will show. Just go to one of those. Go to that one and go to the source. There it is. See that? Now get multiple views of that
yeah.
same thing. So take screenshots of multiple
Uh,
views of that. There you go. See? And then there's the view
I
from
think,
above. There it is. See?
okay. Oh, good idea. Good idea. Good idea. So let's go ahead and take multiple of this. Okay, we'll save one of that.
And I think you only
One.
found the software last week, Dana, didn't you? We didn't know that I didn't know
Yes.
that something like this existed. We were able to speak with a wonderful representative from the company. And
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yes, yes.
there's a lot of promise to this in the future as it develops, because the way that you can work with this isn't just something that like a lot of the other image generation, this allows you to actually export to a workable file. That's a very big deal.
That's true. Yes. That is what is the ultimate perk of Meshy is that yeah, you are able to export to OBJ, STL,
Yep.
SKP, SketchUp file, Rhino, like you can pretty much download it to any not any, but like
Ah, so
also
you can do it
Blender.
with
You can
Rhino, but yeah, you said you didn't want to use Rhino. Remind me, what was that one that you wanted to use?
Blender. So you could use
Blender.
FBX, OBJ, GIB, USDZ, STL, Blend. Um, yeah. So
Mhm.
yeah, Blender is more of like a clay type modeling, like Maya type similar
That seems nice.
software. Yeah, while Rhino
Revit is mesh work, but you get to use kind of a solid. You're dealing with a solid concept instead of a mesh concept with Blender.
Uh, yeah, so Rhino is a surface modeler,
Mhm.
while Blender is a solid
Volume. Yep.
volume modeler. Yeah.
That's certainly a way that I would like to work better. So yeah.
Yeah. So let's go here to text to 3D and let's try this again. We'll do
You don't want to check
it's
the images we just took?
yes, I'm gonna add the images to this prompter.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's go
It
ahead
says image
and
singular.
use
I don't think we can use
it's
multiple ones.
yeah.
Okay.
Uh hmm. Yeah. Uh,
That would be
re
something that would be a future version possibility that the company could choose to pursue if they want. I think that's a very fun thing. And
yes.
that's why I'm so happy that we're involved with the developer and user Discord.
Yes, that's a really amazing idea, David. You are so smart. Definitely, Meshy. I know you guys are out there. You're sponsoring us, so definitely we can also go into the Discord and to communicate them that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, it will be a really good thing where if we could take multiple images to have it create a 3D model. Yeah, because if I put in a picture of something, it doesn't know what the back of it looks like. So,
It's only seeing it from one side. And
yeah,
oh,
so
of course, Dana, we can do all kinds of silly philosophy things. Like now we have the opportunity to discuss Maurice Merleau-Ponty, talking about the visible and the invisible. Oh, phenomenology.
yeah, it's almost like,
Very, very
like
famous French philosopher. He actually influenced, he influenced, Derrida admired Merleau-Ponty more than any other philosopher, really.
well, here, let's stop the share. Let's go back to our beautiful selves. So, yeah, it's kind of like that whole, butterface. Do you get it?
Yes, Dana, that's not a very nice thing to say. Who are you talking about?
I'm talking, guys, guys have ugly things that they say about chicks. You know what I'm saying? Like, she looks better in the back kind of thing.
I suppose. All right.
Okay, I'm sorry, you guys. What I meant is that it's like, you don't know what it looks like on the backside or the other side, and it's like it's missing context. It's missing context. You don't
Yeah,
know.
it's gonna be
So,
it's gonna be more
you know.
accurate when you have when you view it like this. Now I don't know. I was talking about Corbusier before, and I don't know if this was coming across or not, but if you have this view, it kind of looks like the Starship Enterprise when you come in like that.
Yeah.
But
I
no,
like
it's
how yours is beveled.
this. Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that also. This is good light for it too, right? You get that blue reflection. This is a
Yeah.
Peterson. A Peterson. This is
Oh.
called a Rhodesian. And then there's the Peterson that you gave me for my birthday a couple of years ago. That's back
Hmm.
in there. It's
Mm.
one of my favorites.
Sorry, I'm eating pine nuts. Is that okay?
Would I think you look?
David's like, no.
I guess you look. If you do it, it's cute. I'll put it that way. So
Well, good, because I
I,
love
I
it.
think I think we've come to a good stopping point. Do you have a counter on the recording as to how long we've been? We had the
Um,
time change today.
nope. Oh, that's true.
We can't
Oh,
really
oh my
play
gosh.
guess
No,
what.
we can't end our discussion yet. Maybe you know what? How about we end our discussion and we start a new one because early morning vibe.
No, we don't need to start a new one.
Okay, because we need to talk a little bit about, not our views, but just updates on what's going on with the world and the elections a little bit, because you guys, that's a huge thing
Oh yeah,
happening.
we can
That's in
add a
like
political
3 days. The
section.
US election.
We'll add a political section, and
Yeah.
then there might be the little histogram that says most replayed, right there or something. You can skip to the chapter.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that is just the reason I'm mentioning it is because everybody's talking about it, especially here in France. Everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, the U.S. elections!" Everybody's talking about the U.S. elections.
For those of you watching in the future, this is Sunday, and the election happens Tuesday.
Yes.
So what do
So,
you want to say about
in
it?
like
There are
what, two
many
days?
things that I could say about it.
Well, really, like wild stuff that happened. There was just so many things. This is the most entertaining presidential election we've ever had. And while I have to say that, it's totally bonkers, we shouldn't be having all this wacky stuff in politics,
I think
it's
1960 was
entertaining to the
funnier.
least.
1960 was way
Really?
funnier. Yeah.
Why?
Well, Nixon versus Kennedy on TV, and then like the camera cuts to Nixon and he's looking away, and he's like, "Oh, oh, me too." And it's
That's not as funny as Donald Trump going to McDonald's.
maybe.
That was so wild. So Donald Trump went to McDonald's. He I think it was amazing. Donald Trump's whole thing, his whole spiel was amazing. He's like, Kamala Harris, she never went to the border. She never went to McDonald's. She said she went to McDonald's, but she never went to McDonald's. And now we're here at McDonald's. Who knows if that's real or what? Like if she did or go to work at McDonald's or what. But
It is
it was
currently
just so funny the way
unverified.
that he did it.
It is currently unverified if she worked at McDonald's or not.
I mean, it's just such a quick thing to verify. The thing here's my thing. If she
McDonald's
had
does
worked
not
at
keep its
McDonald's,
employment
she
McDonald's does not keep its employment records that old. That's what they said. That was McDonald's official
which
response,
is
is that they don't keep the records that long.
which is false that they would be able to do that. And
How?
Kamala would be able to show her tax documents, her
Correct. It would not be on McDonald's to look it up because McDonald's does not have records from the early 80s about who worked at every place when. They don't pay the
Yeah.
money to put that paper in the filing cabinets or to digitize it. But
No, but they would have a record of who worked there because
uh,
if you type, just for instance, if you were to try to reapply at
let's
McDonald's and you
let's
worked there,
shift
they would
let's
know.
shift let's shift to what I think we can be certain you were right about. We can be certain that you were right
Okay.
that the IRS should have these records.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so my whole point is that the reason that McDonald's wouldn't disclose is because she probably didn't work there and they don't want to piss her off.
Maybe.
That's my opinion. She probably didn't work there and McDonald's is trying to be unbiased or like trying not to piss anybody off. But they're not gonna lie.
I think there are way more exciting things happening, like squirrels and raccoons, while you happen to be eating nuts.
Yum yum yum. Yeah.
Peanut
Yeah, is this
Peanut the
me?
squirrel.
Peanut the squirrel.
Peanut the squirrel, that's the big meme of the moment. So
Oh, I love that.
The New York State Animal, well, Dana, do you know about the New York State Animal Control?
Yeah.
These are people who were appointed by or work for Kathy Hochul, who is she was not elected. She was selected because Governor Andrew Cuomo was pushed out because he talked about grabbing ladies, and then he resigned. He tried to make a joke about it. He tried to say, "I'm Italian. I move my hands. I grab people." That's actually kind of what he said.
I'm an Italian. Give me a booby. Bibbida bobbida booby.
I don't think he said that. It wasn't the Family Guy episode, but
I'm
there were
Italian. I move
women.
my hands. Bibbidi bobbidi booby.
Yeah,
Boobies.
that's a little bit goes a long way, Dana. No, so he there were women who said, "Oh yeah, he would be inappropriate and I didn't care." But this was really interesting because usually this doesn't happen. Usually when men are inappropriate in politics, the women either say it didn't happen or the women say, "Yeah, that was horrible." In this case, several women said, "Yeah, he was inappropriate in a really stupid way that I didn't care about." That's kind of a shift. But then
That
apparently there
sounds like
were
it could have happened.
right. It sounds very believable. But anyways, there were enough people making a big deal about something that they did say was terrible that he ended up resigning. And so Kathy Hochul, the lieutenant governor, is now in charge, and it's the people who have been working for her, part of the bureaucracy of state animal control. There was an animal rescue hospital nonprofit. They
Yeah.
had rescue horses they were taking care of in upstate New York somewhere. I don't know where it is. And these people were online, and they had a squirrel that they called Peanut. And there was a raccoon. I forget the raccoon's name. And everyone remembers the squirrel, but forgets the raccoon. So let's think about the raccoon, as people say. And so the squirrel,
Well,
they ended up killing the raccoon and the squirrel
why?
because the bureaucrats said that this was an illegal pet.
Wait.
This was a pet
What?
squirrel who was a rescue squirrel. He was rescued from the middle of the road when his squirrel mom died, and he was a baby squirrel. And he was a big chunked boy who was like maybe this big. And he jumped around, and there's videos of him jumping around, and he loved jumping from the counter to the guy's back seat of his sweatpants, and the guy's wife would take care of him. And yep,
Oh my gosh. Wait, you're saying right now that somebody had a pet squirrel because it was a rescue that they found and then they posted it on YouTube as like, look at Peanut, and
yep,
then
that they had for
the
7 years. He was the world's most viewed squirrel or something like that.
oh my gosh, and you're saying that the government came and just killed the squirrel.
New York State Animal Control came in and killed the squirrel and the raccoon, from what I have heard about this. And these two people were well known as being, I think, as being conservative political commentators at times. and they're being, given the business by these. This a lot of
Oh
people are
my
saying the
God.
phrase just following orders. I was just following orders. And he said something that the guy who runs the place with his wife, his wife was too sad to talk, but they were talking to someone in an interview. And they were talking to TMZ. TMZ. No, so they were talking to TMZ about it. It's kind of a ridiculous show, but it was nice that they were having this interview. And the TMZ guy with the beard was talking to him, and the wife was too sad to say anything, and the guy was talking about it, and he was very sad. And he said he was just pointing out how ridiculous the government bureaucracy has become and can be. He said there were something like 4 separate judges signed off on a search warrant to go kill a raccoon and a squirrel.
Oh
Four
my God,
different ju-
that's disgustingly horrible.
4 different judges thought that that's okay to do. And so
That should
and
be
this
against
is
that should be made into the Constitution that the government is not allowed to kill
constitutional
animals
amendment
that
that we
pose
can't kill pets.
that we can't kill pets
Okay.
unless they can prove that they are a threat to society. Like if they're a wild dog that's going off biting the hands off of people, you
You've heard
shouldn't be
it
allowed
here,
to kill
folks.
animals.
Dana wants to give pets 14th Amendment protection to due process.
Yes, due process.
Extend the
You know what?
14th
That's true.
Amendment
I
to
believe
pets.
I'm not gonna lie. I do believe a lot that animals deserve rights. Animals deserve rights just as we deserve rights. If animals are posing no threat to society,
Now,
let's
does
say,
this
well,
mean
let's say that
does does this mean that we get to convict and arrest dangerous pit bulls?
um yes,
Okay. I think that's logically consistent.
yes, dangerous pit bulls that are biting the hands off of people. Yeah, you take them in
Okay.
and unless they can prove either themselves or someone else that they are not a threat to society, then they should be taken to doggy prison and what happens there.
But
I'm
you don't want
sorry,
the
but
presumption of innocence for pit
better.
bulls?
Um, what? Oh, guilt, innocent until proven guilty.
Do you think the pit bulls should be innocent until proven guilty?
Well, the whole point is that they would be proven guilty when they bite somebody's hand off. So if they bite somebody's
Mm,
finger off,
that's not how the U.S. justice system works. You are not proven guilty by committing the crime. That's what happens in China. China considers you guilty when you commit the crime. When you're accused, you're considered guilty, and then you prove your innocence.
oh no. For animals, no. For animals, you
You want
bite
to, you want to treat the,
somebody,
you want to
you
treat the
hurt somebody.
animals like the Chinese Communist Party?
Well, the way that they treat humans, I mean, it's better than the way that China treats animals.
I don't
Um,
think either you
so
or I don't think either you or I know how China treats animals, Dana. We just don't know.
well, let's just yeah, we don't know. We don't
But you wanted
know.
to talk
We
about the
don't know.
election. We
But I
sidetracked
have a
because of
hunch.
Peanut. We sidetracked because of Peanut into extending Fourth Amendment rights to pets.
That's so sad. I wish
It's
Peanut
very,
was.
very sad.
I don't even know Peanut. I don't even know Peanut, and I'm sad. I don't even know Peanut, and I'm sad. Well, anyway, yeah. I listen. I am very political. I believe that animals deserve the right to work if they can be useful and be paid in biscuits.
Horses, maybe. I don't think cats are going to do anything besides be a model on the catwalk.
Cats.
On the catwalk.
Yeah, animals like cats. You can employ cats to kill mice and cockroaches.
That's true. There are cats with jobs that do that. That's right. It's really, I love those videos when the
Yeah,
cats have GoPros on their necks.
that's so funny. That's exactly what I saw today. Oh my gosh, that's what that was. There was a cat that I saw today with some kind of big chunky thing on his neck. I didn't know why he had something like that, but he
Yeah, it's
just out of
probably a
nowhere,
camera.
he jumped out of the bush. Yeah, probably because he jumped out of the bush and a bird flew out. And I was like, that cat is so good at catching birds, I could tell.
That's why the kitty has the camera, because then the owner uploads it for videos, for really cool
Oh,
videos.
well, yeah. And honestly, France does a much better job at at loving animals, I think, than the US does, because there is in Versailles, there is a
Maybe.
pigeon house, a house for pigeons.
Uh-huh. Well, that's very, very old. Do they
Did you
still
see
keep,
that?
do they still, I saw that you sent to me. Do they still keep pigeons there?
Well, the whole point of it is that the
They're
pigeons go inside. It's not about keeping
they're
it. It's the
pigeon
pigeons
houses.
go.
There are pigeon houses in the United States, and that was for captive pigeons. That was for Mike Tyson does this, by the way, Dana. People in New York do this all the time, is they have pigeon houses on tops of the roofs in New York, and they keep doves there, and doves and pigeons.
I love that.
You
I
didn't
wish
even know
LA
that?
was that
Did
cool.
you
LA is not
did
like
you
that. They
well,
just
people
build
have
towers to
falcons.
kill.
People have falcons here. RFK does falcons. But did you know that Mike Tyson loves pigeons?
No, I love pigeons. Mike
Yes.
Tyson, you're so cool.
He's an interesting guy. He
Mike
also
Tyson.
owns tigers.
Oh, Mike Tyson owns tigers?
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. I don't think he owns them anymore, but he
Yeah.
he owns, he's an
I
extreme
wouldn't
guy.
own a tiger. I wouldn't
That's
own a
yeah,
tiger, but I
it's
would
pretty
definitely
dangerous.
like yeah.
The tigers loved him, but
There's
it's still dangerous.
it is.
Because what
I can
happens when you're
imagine.
petting a kitty and the kitty thinks it's enough pets, and they just go. Then imagine a
Yeah,
tiger doing that.
that's like no. Or whaps.
Yeah.
Kitty's
Okay.
just thinking whap. And
I
to you,
think
that's like a death sentence.
if anyone is still watching here, ladies and gentlemen, you get absolute extra credit. If anyone emails me and tells me how many fingers I am holding up right now after talking about Mike Tyson tiger waps, and you email it to info@livingprocess.net, I will give you 50% off Rome, Where Are We? And I'm not kidding.
Wow. Okay, that
Because
is
I'm going to
super
be
cool.
so
Oh,
impressed by people watching this far.
and you know what? Not only that, but if you're watching this and you know if you're in Versailles and you get a pizza de Dana from the local pizza place, I'll go ahead and add a link to the place down below. I will buy
What?
you a pizza de Dana. Brought to you by Dana Lad.
What? Okay. Oh, Pizza di Dana.
Pizza de
There's a
Dana. There's a
store
special.
called Pizza di Dana. Okay. All right.
No. There is a pizza place that has
Yes.
a pizza de Dana. If you
Right. You've shown
get
me.
the pizza de Dana, that pizza's on me.
All right.
Dana Lad. Oh my gosh, by the way, did I tell you? You guys, this is amazing. So my name is Dana Flora Ladd, right? There is another Dana F. Ladd out there. She looks like similar to me. Like we have the same color hair, same color like complexion. We like literally look the same color eyes. And she does architecture
Does
and she's a BIM expert.
is she evil? Because if she's not evil, then I gotta have concerns about you.
It's me.
Anyways, no, really. There's a good German word for this, which is it's called a doppelganger.
Yeah,
You know,
yes, she's my doppelganger for sure,
where
and
does she
I'm the
live?
evil one.
No, you're
She
not.
lives in well, what I mean by evil is that I'm evil. Just kidding.
La donna sinistra. La donna sinistra, in serio, no creo, no creo, Dana.
I will make a special meatballs.
All right.
I'll make you a special potion. My magic is my cooking. So that is my magic.
Yes.
But it's not evil.
No,
So
it's not. It's
so
very
I
yummy.
guess the other Dana at Vlad is evil. Maybe she's the evil one. Anyway,
All right.
I'm just kidding. Her and I
So
have actually
before
talked to each other. Like I know each other anyway. So she's cool.
before
She's super cool.
okay. Before we wrap up, by the way, look at these. The light is so nice. Look at that reflection. You see that
I
next to
love
me?
that. Oh, I can't
Pretty
wait to
cool,
get
huh?
back to Pasadena.
That's the museum over there. That's the South Pasadena Museum right next door. And then the French
Yeah,
Bistro behind me.
can't wait. Can't wait to go back to Pasadena, you guys. I'm like, can't wait to go visit you, David. By the way, if anybody wants to help us continue our beautiful channel and what we do, you can go ahead and let us know that you're interested in either sponsoring us or we're trying to get set up with the new Patreon. You can go ahead and take a look at David's podcast, um, or hire us for a project. So yeah, thank you so much, David, and I can't wait to see you soon. Everybody, if you love our channel and you want to support the wonderful work that David and I do and want to help us see each other again because we never get to see each other, like and subscribe, you
Like,
guys. The best way that you can help.
share, and subscribe. Tell your friends. For some
Yes.
reason, I
All
want
right.
to say that like John Lovitz. Like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends.
Like, share, subscribe.
And now Dana's the Wizard of Oz munchkins. I think it's getting late at night for Dana.
Yeah, yeah, I tend to get a little goofy when I haven't had enough sleep. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead, let you guys go. Thank you so much for spending our beautiful Sunday with us, and we
Yes.
just can't wait to see you again.
All right, we're gonna have another one next week, and also that X platform space for Rome. Where are we? So info at
Yes.
livingprocess.net. Info at livingprocess.net, the email. All right. Well, thank you so much, Dana.
Thank you. Bye, David. Bye, you guys.
Bye.
Have a wonderful weekend.